If you also collect a bag full of these tiny yarn scraps, you know the truth. They're trash. The fibers and colors don't match, they're too short, and they feel almost impossible to use. But what if I told you that I took all of this and turned it into my own take on this $3,000 Miu Miu bag? The colors flow, the shape is perfect, and thanks to some basic sewing, it's completely functional and has a professional finish. This video is my challenge, turning trash into a unique luxury bag. Let's get started. I feel like I look a little ghosty today. It might just be the lack of sleep, I don't know. I have a plan to make a knitted bag. Let me explain. I've been seeing these adorable little knitted Miu Miu handbags. They're kind of chunky and multicolored, and I feel like I can totally make one of those. I have this massive bag, bigger than my head, full of scrap yarn and random skeins where I only have like a ball or less. Most of it's wool, but there is some cotton and acrylic mixed in as well. All right, no point in wasting any more time. Welcome everyone to my work table. I have some really nice new bright lights overhead, so we should be able to get a really good look at all the yarn and the different colors that I have going on in this bag. I have some like random half-frogged projects. I've got some yarn that I thrifted a long time ago and I'm never gonna use. Little bits of I-cord. I don't even know what half of this stuff is. Really needed to go through all that because there's some stuff in here that I've never even touched, and I think something at some point had moths. I didn't find any actual moths, but I found some kind of yucky things that made me feel like they were in here at one point. So I actually ended up throwing some of that yarn away. So we've kind of culled, and now we have the cream of the crop. So let's take a look at what we have. I noticed that I kind of have like 3 main color groups going on, and the biggest one by far is red and pink and purple. So that's kind of fun. Next up, we have a lot of blue. I've got a little bit of green mixed in. I've got all of these smaller balls as well from a like color work stripe project that I made for a Christmas gift one year. I think what we can do is we can kind of like mix these smaller balls in throughout, and you know, obviously it'd only be for like a row or two, I'm assuming, but just to have those interesting stripes for some variety would be kind of fun. Okay, and then lastly, I have all my neutrals. I've also got this big ball of, I believe it's wool ease, but I was thinking this might make a really good base because it's not too warm toned, it's not too cool toned, and I think it would just contrast nicely with any darker colors that I choose. And I have enough of it as well, so this could just be a good option to carry throughout the bag. I think that this could be a really good base to tie everything together, and I might have enough to do the whole bag. So maybe we can pick these two for our base. Okay, I definitely want it to have some punch though. So I think the goal here is to pick colors that look random, but really they weren't. I love this hotter pink. I think we're definitely gonna do some of that. I definitely want some green in there too. If only I had more of this chartreuse. This is really pretty. I think this is all I have left though. We can kind of just imagine that we'll be using all these colors together. Okay, I like that. And this yellow too. I actually have like a mini skein of this really pretty gold color. Yeah, that is the mix that I'm going for. I like that. You can see that they also use a bunch of different yarns and colors, and it just has a lot of texture. I think they either used ribbing or brioche for this. And the handle kind of looks like a really big I-cord. Also in some pictures, you can kind of see a seam in the middle, like the top middle of the handle. So that can kind of clue us into how this was constructed. There are a couple changes that I want to make just so it's better suited to me and my taste. I have this classic little bagoo bag that I'm going to use as a reference for my dimensions. I've gone ahead and adjusted the handle to kind of the height that I like it. So I actually have a big thick hand knitted sweater on, but as you can see, there's still enough room for it in the underarm. So I think this will work really well as a reference. Okay, so it's time to start knitting. I can already tell that this might be a little bit of a nightmare. I think if I were not lazy, I would put all of these balls of yarn into separate containers and they would feed really nicely and smoothly, but I'm not that kind of girl. We're just gonna do this, and I'm already gonna have a lot of loose ends to weave in, so if I need to cut yarn off the ball because there's a tangle and then reattach it, it's really not going to make that much of a difference to me. Okay, my goal with the construction is simplicity. I'm going to start like I start most projects and make a slip knot. Okay, first row complete. I went ahead and casted on the number of stitches that I think I'm going to need for the bottom, just in case this swatch is right. Then I can just keep knitting and make the bottom of the bag. I am usually the type to swatch swatch again, maybe swatch a third time before actually starting my project. So this is really freeing to just jump straight into it. I had some comments on a recent short, and apparently a lot of people don't swatch. They just go for it. And my question for you is, do your sweaters fit the way that you want them to? Do you knit sweaters? And yet, I let my yarn get tangled up and I won't put them all in separate containers. Oh well. I'm gonna see how much progress I can get done for the next hour or so, and I will catch back up with you in just a minute. My hands hurt so bad. Doesn't that look so cool? Okay, so where do we go from here? I'm gonna start knitting in the round. I'm gonna do my 1x1 rib. You can kind of tell that the corners are rounded, and I thought that this construction method would be best for this style of bag because the original bag is also pretty round. It doesn't have super defined corners like this bag does. What do you think about these colors so far? I mean, some of these colors really don't go with one another, but because there are so many, there's at least one color in here tying the other ones together that don't match. So at this point, I started knitting in the round. The first few rows were really hard because I was fighting the square base the whole time. But then it got easier, so I started mixing in different colors. Except I couldn't simply add another strand. The tension got so tight that for every color I added, I also had to take one away. As you saw earlier, I only had a short length of certain colors, so to spread out the color a little more evenly, I'd only knit a couple of stitches with it, drop it again, and then pick it up and knit another couple stitches on the next round. If I didn't do that, I'd just have one yellow stripe on this bag, but I really wanted the colors to be more sprinkled in. Okay, I have another update to share. I have reached the height where I want to start thinking about the zipper. So I think I'm actually going to section off some stitches on either end for the handles. And then I'm going to knit 2 flaps, and each flap will get secured to one side of the zipper. And then I'll knit like a tube handle on either side. It's getting late. I think I'm going to peace out for the evening. But I will give you an update tomorrow, and I think by then I'll have some fun stuff to show you. Ooh, the hair is bad. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, I've got a handle, and I ran out of stitch holders, so I'm using a pencil. Let me take you over to the table, and I'll show you what I've been working on. It's raining today, so you might hear a little bit of road noise. I'm really sorry about that. I have finished knitting the body. As you can see here, I have cast it off, and I've got this kind of little braided edge on both sides. And I'm really pleased at how the opening kind of like cinches the whole bag in, because I knit the body in 1x1 rib. I actually went ahead and decreased almost half of the stitches on either side of the opening. Sewing the ribbing down to a zipper was going to be really tricky. It would just be really thick and bulky. So there's like a bunch of knit two togethers here, which you almost can't even see. So yeah, I just did stockinette for a couple of rows, and then I casted off the remaining stitches. And I'm really pleased with how the shape is turning out. It kind of looks like a little dumpling. Okay, so the handles. I also did some decreasing for the handles. I have 7 stitches put on hold here, and the side panel is also 1x1 rib. It's pretty stretchy, so similar to the opening of the bag, I decreased every other stitch. Okay, and then also off camera, I dug through my humble little zipper stash here. I have some weirder stuff, like this waterproof zipper. This is actually the right side of the zipper, and this is the wrong side. So this is like the side that would be on the inside of the bag. So I don't have a ton of colors, but that's actually okay because my lining fabric is going to be this really neutral duck canvas. It's not quite white, but that's perfect because for some reason I have a lot of tan zippers, like in all kinds of shades. What was I even gonna do with all these? I have no clue. Originally, I wanted to do like a little plastic zipper because I thought the plastic might snag less because there'll just be like so many pieces of yarn near the zipper. But then my other option is this really pretty random metal zipper that I have. I mostly like it for the pull. I don't love gold hardware, but in this case, I think this will look the most professional, and it still matches the fabric pretty well. It might even be a better match than the plastic zipper. So yeah, the next steps, I have a couple different options. I can either take a break from knitting for a little while and make a lining for this bag, or I can knit the other half of this handle. I kind of just want to be done with the knitting. I really want to sew this lining piece up. So I think I'm gonna knit the other half of the handle. I'll film some of it so you can see exactly the steps that I took. Okay, I'm gonna clean up this mess finish knitting and check back in with you in a minute. I won't lie to you, I was so over the knitting by this point. The handles are flopping around, my hands are about to fall off from working this really thick yarn, but I persevered. I knew I was gonna have a beautiful bag at the end of all this. There was still one thing standing in my way though. One of my goals is to sew a lining for the inside. This will do two things. Number one, it will keep the inside clean and hide all of my yarn ends. And two, it'll give the bag structure. I made a paper mock-up to wrap my head around the construction method, and I take all my measurements. The only thing I'm sort of struggling with is what exactly I'm gonna do up here. I'm just gonna sew the zipper really neatly along these two bind off edges. I think it's time to do a little bit of pattern drafting and then cutting, sewing, and then hand sewing. I really believe that adding some sewing to a knitting project is an amazing way to level it up, and learning some basic pattern making skills will really give you more freedom to do that. Let me know down below if you want a tutorial for drafting a bag liner. Okay, both sides are sewn up. Now we just have to take care of these corners. It's time to do a dry fit and see if our liner fits the bag. Okay, moment of truth. Oh my god, it fits perfect. I'm kidding, I'm not surprised. I knew that that was gonna work. Okay, so that means that we're in the home stretch. I think what I'm gonna do is just a crap ton of hand sewing. I think I'll film little clips here and there, but other than that, I'm gonna catch back up with you tomorrow. I can't believe how well this is coming together. I have been waiting for a project to go this smoothly for a long time. Yeah, honestly, I can't wait. Little did I know that my biggest challenge yet was just around the corner. Remember my pretty braided edge on the opening? Turns out it wasn't so pretty. I had come this far, but for the life of me, could not sew it to the zipper in a way that looked nice. It rippled, it was uneven, and it was so ugly that I even turned the camera off because I didn't want you to see it. However, after my third attempt, I had an idea. I realized this edge looked really pretty folded over. Not only that, but it was more stable, and zippers love stable fabrics. Instantly, I knew this would be difficult to sew down, especially invisibly, but I could tell that the payoff would be worth it. So that's what I did. Okay, hand sewing final boss, the bag lining. This honestly wasn't too bad, but let me give you a piece of advice. If you need to sew a lining in, turn your bag inside out first. I promise you'll shed less tears. Unless, of course, you stab yourself with needles like I do. It's all done. I stayed up late last night and did so much hand sewing, and I think every last little stitch was worth it. It looks so clean and professional. Did I expect any less of myself? For better or worse, no. I'm over the moon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you got to see how combining sewing and knitting can really level up your projects. I want to do more things like this. This was so much fun. And tell me down below if you think I succeeded in recreating this Miu Miu bag. To not have a knitting project that took me like weeks, if not months, crazy, mind-blowing, game-changing, show-stopping. Anyway. With that, I'm going to leave you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2025. If you feel inclined, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. And hopefully I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.